Hi, welcome to your yoga practice. We are focusing on the foundation, the alignment in the feet and legs today. And we will begin lying on our backs. Start with your knees bent. Allow the sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of the spine, to settle. And then extend the heels away from the crown of the head. There we go. If there's any discomfort in the lower back, as you extend the legs, keep the knees bent, take the feet wide, let the knees fall towards each other. We want to be in a comfortable position with the spine neutral. Become aware of your breath. Notice the quality of the breath today before the practice. Notice if your chest feels tight or open. If the breath is short or long. If the inhales or the exhales bear more weight. And then we'll begin to intentionally deepen the breath. The breath is a control dial on the awareness. So deep, long breaths. Keep the awareness calm and grounded. Bring your awareness to your diaphragm. And as you inhale, feel the diaphragm expand down. As you exhale, feel it soften back and spread wide. Next inhale takes the awareness past your diaphragm down into the bottoms of your feet and the tips of your toes. And as you exhale, completely sink into the support of the ground beneath you. And allow yourself to connect to the universal blueprint for optimal alignment. Bones and joints stacked in the back body plane so that the skeletal system can support us. Have a few more of those deep, long breaths. Taking the awareness down into the body and back. And then from the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes, inhale and pull your awareness up through the legs, into the pelvis, the low back, the middle back. Notice any areas of tension, soreness, general discomfort. And as you inhale, gently open and expand those areas with the in-breath. As you exhale completely, allow some tension to leave your body with your breath. The next inhale draws the awareness up the torso, into the shoulders, the neck, and the face. Once again, just noticing where in the upper body you're holding tension today. Use the breath to take the awareness there. As you inhale, deeply create space. Invite fresh oxygen and blood to flow through those areas. And as you exhale completely, continue the conversation of consciously asking the body to soften, release, and let go. Lastly, bring the awareness to the mind. Observe where your thoughts are at, the speed at which they move through you, And take a big step back from identifying as your thoughts and just witness their passing through the sky, through the mind, like clouds through the sky, without getting attached and carried away, without judging yourself for what you're thinking about, but beginning to notice the habits and patterns in the way the mind turns and in the way you speak to yourself. And then bring the awareness back and anchor it fully on the breath. Have a few more deep, long breaths down into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. And exhale, soften back and spread wide across the floor. Feeling this relationship between the body and the earth. The way that she is always there, providing stability and support. With an inhale, you can reach your arms up and overhead. Give yourself a big stretch from fingertips to tippy toes. Exhale here. And inhale, draw the knees into the chest. Gently rock from side to side. Massage the low back. And when you're ready with an exhale, roll onto the right side body. Press down with the palms to lift up. Come to a comfortable seated position. And keep your eyes closed for just another moment. Bring your awareness to the foundation of the pose and feel that you are pressing evenly into both sits bones at the base of the pelvis. It's useful for me to inner rotate my thighs and move the flesh of the buttocks out. Feeling how that creates space at the base of the pelvis. Remembering that if our the pelvis is tilted back like this, we can't lift our spine. All of our effort then must begin to do the work of lifting from the base of the spine up, of hugging the sacrum in towards the midline. If it's not possible to find a neutral position for the pelvis, get you a couch cushion, a blanket, something you can sit up on that will allow your pelvis to come perpendicular to the floor. We press down evenly through both sides at the foundation, which is the sits bones, so that we can inhale, lift, and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. And as you exhale, soften the shoulders together, down and into the back body. Feel that you are stacking the neck over the rest of the spine, looking for that same alignment that was created when we were laying on our backs, that allows the skeletal system to support us and brings a lightness into our bodies and our beings. Okay. So the relationship energetically with the foundation is always that we are grounding down through whatever part of the body is connected to the earth. And from that rooting down, we get the leverage to lift up. Right now, the sits bones are the foundation, but today we'll spend a lot of time focusing on the alignment in the feet and legs because they are so often our foundation as we walk and carry ourselves through the world. All week, we have been talking about what values and beliefs we place at the foundation of our yoga practice, but also of our lives in general. Because the yoga practice becomes a laboratory in which we observe and explore the tendencies in our physical body, our emotional reactions, and how we think about and respond to the world in general. Whatever we place at the foundation will have ripple effects up through the entire structure, whether it's your physical body or a building. And the beliefs and values that we place at the foundation affect what it is even possible for us to conceive of doing and being and creating. This week we've been focusing on the comfort and the stability that we can create for our bodies and our minds by developing our own routines. And for me, the yoga practice is like the foundational aspect of my routine that keeps me grounded. As you will experience when you practice with me, there is a routine to how we begin and move through the shapes. There's a routine to how we move through the body from the ground up, aligning from week to week. And you can find so much freedom and space to explore within the structure of these routines. That lets the body know that it's safe. That lets the mind know what it can expect. But really my favorite thing about developing discipline and structure and routine is learning then how you can strategically break these structures. It's just like they say, or like what I tell Vivian, my daughter, about school. Like, I need you to understand what is expected of you. I need you to follow the rules and follow the routines until there is an opportunity for you to make a strategic break, to speak out against the injustice that you see around you, or to have a suggestion, create a modification that's actually going to improve upon the existing structure. So the more that we commit to our discipline and our routines, the more that whenever something fun and exciting that we want to do comes up, we're allowed to drop the whole thing, to go out to brunch, to do whatever it is, to go camping tomorrow that you want to do, knowing that you have the routine ingrained within you, that you feel on a visceral level the benefits of it, and that once you've taken your break, you'll return back to your routine. So that's what we'll think about while we practice today. And I'm always interested in hearing your guys' comments or feedbacks or ideas on the themes. I have some people that have been emailing me after they practice and with their ideas, and it's such a lovely exchange. With an inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. And exhale through the mouth with sound. 2 more times like that to empty the body out. Inhale, stretch past the skin and fingertips. And exhale, let it all go. Good. One more time. Inhale deeply. And exhale completely. Then inhale to prepare for the sound of Om 3 times together. Pause to feel the vibrations resonate through the body, particularly becoming aware of where things get stuck and constricted. This whole practice is a tool for us to gather information about what is going on all layers and levels of our being, so we can make adjustments to return to center, to create more ease and space and freedom in both the body and the mind. We will take a moment to connect more deeply to the breath. And we will practice pranayama, breath work, where we consciously lengthen the exhale. As I said before, the breath is a control dial on the awareness. You'll notice that when you get angry, scared, anxious, upset, the breath gets short and fast. That affects the heart rate and the speed of the thoughts through the mind. We use our control of and awareness of the breath to bring a balance of both calm and alert into the mind and body. And this idea of discipline is encapsulated in the word pranayama. Prana means life force. Ayama means to restrain. I said that wrong. Prana means life force. Yama means to restrain. But ayama is the opposite of yama, freedom. So through this learning to regulate and control the breath, we create freedom for ourselves. So we'll begin by just inhale deeply through the nose and exhale completely through the nose. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale 2, 3, 4. And exhale as slowly as you can, pausing at the bottom of the breath to feel that calming, grounding, soothing quality of the exhale, and then return to your normal breath. Good, we're gonna take the soles of the feet together and scoot in towards your heels any amount. Press all 10 toes into each other so that the arch of the foot opens like a little cup. As the feet press together, the knees press away from each other, bringing more and more of the back of the thighs down onto the floor as your foundation. The sits bones ground evenly, and from the base of the spine, we're lifting straight up through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. Notice if one hip is tighter than the other, held up away from the ground. And as you exhale, consciously ask it to soften more deeply. Notice if one side of your arch is stronger than the other, and use your awareness to cultivate a balance. Have 3 more deep, long breaths, expanding the awareness to be in many places at once. The soles of the feet press together, the knees press away, The sits bones ground down, and from the base of the spine, we lift and lengthen through the crown. With an exhale, you can extend the legs out. And we're not taking the legs as wide as we possibly can right now, maybe just a 90-degree angle. We want to make sure the toes are flexed and active, pointing straight up. Notice if you have a tendency to roll out, which probably means that your pelvis is dipping back, and you need to, from the base of the spine, lift up. Or if you have a tendency for your feet to roll in, probably means you're pretty mobile and the pelvis is dipping forward. We want to press down through both sits bones and down through the whole midline of the back of the legs. Maybe you can press the thigh bones down so hard that your heels lift up. Feel that engagement in the quadriceps, the muscles hugging into the bones. We want to keep that as you exhale and slowly extend through the heels. Soften the calves. Bring the whole midline of the back of the leg firmly towards the floor so eventually no light shines through. Notice if one leg is stronger than the other. If one leg gives up first. With each breath, renew your efforts. 3 more deep, long breaths. This is the level of engagement we're looking for in the legs in all of our shapes. And then with an exhale, one more time, soles of the feet together. Scoot in towards your heels any amount. This time, the pinky toe side of the foot presses together, and we open up through the big toe mound. You may notice that as you do that, and you might have to use your fingers to start to train the body, literally speaking to your foot like, hey, left big toe, open up. Because when we have to practice, we have to create the pathways in the brain for the energy and the communication to move through. And that's what yoga does for us. So as the pinky toe side of the foot presses together, the big toes spread apart. Maybe you notice that that actually allows the femur to soften out of the hip socket all the way up the legs. So the back of the legs can come down towards the floor a little bit more. Pinky toes press together. Big toes and knees press away from the pinky toes. Still grounding both sit bones down and lift and lengthen through the heart and the crown of the head. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Again, noticing if one hip is tighter than the other. Sending the exhales there to ask it to soften. Noticing if one foot listens better than the other. And noticing that although this creates more access to opening the hips, we probably don't want to do it while we're weight bearing on the feet because we want our femur to stay grounded in the hip socket. With an exhale, spread the legs and take them a little wider this time. But same actions, pressing down through the thigh bones so that the heels lift. Keeping the outer edge of your foot perpendicular to the floor, so noticing what is happening in the pelvis and using the action of the thigh bones to regulate it. As you keep this engagement in the quadriceps, exhale and extend through the heels. Soften your calves. Whole midline of the back of the leg hugs firmly towards the floor. And inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, and the crown up and away from the pelvic bowl. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Noticing how freaking hard this is, right? And noticing as we spread the legs wider, it becomes more difficult to keep them engaged. Don't give up. Renew your efforts for that last breath. Good. And exhale, we'll make our way onto our hands and knees. Spread the fingers wide. They become your foundation here. Press down through all the knuckle mounds. As you inhale, drop the abdomen down, arch the back gaze up. As you exhale, press down and curl the spine to the ceiling. Continue at your own pace. Sync the motions of the body with the breath. Use the breath to deepen the motions of the body. Allow that synchronicity to bring you fully and completely into the present moment, and move in any way that feels good to you within the confines of the shapes. Allowing the mind to connect with and receive the wisdom of the body. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Remembering throughout the practice today that you are responsible for listening to your body, because we don't have a teacher present, and that this practice is yours, and that everything that I offer you is just a suggestion for you to try on and find the proper balance. When you are ready, with an exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips high, and press back to downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal your feet, sway your hips, move in any way that feels good to you here. Get those wiggles out. And this whole practice is really to prepare us for stillness. So find some stillness. Make sure the hands are grounded evenly and the feet are grounded evenly. Feet as wide as the hips. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Take a slight bend in your knees right over your ankles. And as you inhale, lift the hips high. As you exhale, press down from the back of the knee through the heels. Feel the legs stretch. And remember that in this practice, we use the legs to stretch the spine. So the thigh bones press up and back to where the wall meets the ceiling. The head hangs heavy. We don't want to compromise the length and space in the lower back to get the heels on the ground. We want to create space in the lower back and find the balance of grounding the heels down energetically as much as we can. With your next inhale, float forward into your plank pose. The hips at the height of the shoulders. So we take our thigh bones back a little bit, stick our booty up, and then root the tailbone down towards the heels. Finding that same engagement in the legs that we just created in that previous practice. From that grounding in the legs, we can breathe length and space into the spine. And with an exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back. Everything on the ground is your foundation. It presses firmly down to lift the heart and crown. The shoulders draw together down and into the back body. And press all your toenails down, especially that pinky toenail. Feel it spread through the sacrum. Every single action in the feet has an effect on the body. So you want to feel and find them. With an exhale, seat to heels. Coming to child's pose for a moment. Allowing the energy of the hips to settle towards the heels. Even if they're not touching yet, there's that grounding action. It might feel good to sway a little bit from side to side. From that grounding of the lower body, you get the leverage to breathe length and space into each vertebrae in the spine. And as you exhale, soften more deeply into your stretch. With an inhale, once again, rise, arch the back, gaze up. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips high, press back, downward facing dog. Return to the foundation of the pose. And as you inhale, lift and spread the fingers and toes. Feel how that engages the muscles in the shins and forearms, drawing the energy in and up. As you exhale, lower the fingers and toes, but keep that engagement. From the grounding down, inhale, lift the abdomen and the hips high. Lift from the back of the knees to the sits bones as you press from the back of the knees to the heels and press the thigh bones up and back. Let the head hang heavy. 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an inhale, begin to walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Come into your standing forward bend at the front of your mat. If you want to bend the knees here for this first forward fold of the day, feel free. Abdomen can come towards the thighs. You want to release all the tension from the back, the shoulders, and the neck out through the crown of the head. Shake it, yes. Shake it, no. Grab opposite elbows and sway. Move in any way that feels good to release the tension from the back, the shoulders, and the neck. With an inhale, return to center and exhale. Release the arms. Next inhale, rise, reach the arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. So just like lying on our backs gives us a lot of information about the stacking of the bones and joints, mountain pose is our template, Tadasana. We're looking for that same alignment, but this time we're building from the feet and legs. We want to have our feet as wide as our hips to start and turn so that the outer edge of the foot is parallel with the outer edge of the mat. Americans are usually like here, so this might feel like you're turning your foot inward, but feel how it rotates the thigh bone into the hip socket, all the way up the leg. Everything at the foundation has ripple effects through the whole body. So we need to become aware of how we are standing. So, outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. As you inhale, lift and spread your toes. Stretch them out. Ground them down. Keep that engagement. The spreading of the toes and the pressing through the big toe mound lifts the arch. That is the first diaphragm of the body supporting your pelvic floor, your actual diaphragm, like something else up in the throat. So that's really important that we learn to engage the arch. And then we take our booty out, our thigh bones back, bringing the center of the hips over the knees and ankles. With the thigh bones back, it is a balance of the two actions. You have to find it for yourself. Draw the center of the buttocks into the midline. Root the tailbone down. Feel your connection to the earth get stronger and more stable. And as you inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Pause here. Stretching through the fingertips and the crown of the head. Soften the shoulders together and down the back. Keep the abdomen drawn back. Low ribs rooted down. We're looking for that stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane in all of our shapes today. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an exhale, fold forward over the legs. In your forward fold, even if your knees are bent, moving towards straight, and especially if your knees hyperextend, take a slight bend in the knees. And as you inhale, you're lifting from the back of the knees up, lifting the frontal hip bones. As you exhale, rooting the tailbone down, pressing through the heels. Do that a few more times. Inhale, lift from the back of the legs. See how that stacks my hips over my knees and ankles here. And exhale, press from the back of the knee through the heels. 3 more times at your own pace, moving with your own breath. Feeling how we go through the same motions again and again, refining our focus and discovering new things within. With an inhale, gaze forward, get leg. Exhale, ground the palm, step or jump back to plank pose. Lift the thigh bones, just like we did, sticking our booty out in Tadasana, and then draw the center of the buttocks into the midline. Lift the abdomen and the back of the ribs to meet the shoulder blades. If you need support to keep one line of energy through the body, lower the knees down. With an exhale, the elbows bend straight back to 90 degrees. Inhale, lift the heart. Roll the shoulders back. Pinky toenails pressing into the earth. Exhale, lift the hips. Press back. Downward facing dog. Return to your breath. Inhale, lift and spread the fingers and toes. Lift the abdomen towards the spine. Lift the hips high. Exhale, press through the 4 corners of the hands and feet. Press the thigh bones back. Allow the head to hang heavy. 3 more breaths. And with an inhale, gaze forward, step or jump the feet to meet the hands, get length through the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Come to stand, Tadasana, mountain pose. Check back in with your foundation, noticing if one foot tends to go forward or turn out more. Return the body to center. Lift and spread your toes to lift the pelvic floor. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back to plank. Find that activation in the legs that supports the lower back, and exhale, lower. Press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Return to your breath. Feeling how we can connect to the earth. And then inhale and draw up those qualities of strength, stability, and steadiness. Learning to embody these qualities of the earth through our practice so that we can exhale and extend them back out to all the people in our lives that could use a little bit of that support. With an inhale, gaze forward, step or jump the feet to meet the hands, get length through the spine, fold deeply into the leg. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release the arms by your sides, Tadasana. Feel how the weight is distributed in the feet. If it goes into the toes, that means we have to take our thigh bones out, back, our booty out a little bit. Root the tailbone down. Feel that your quadriceps are hugged into the bones, just like when we were working the floor. And inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back to plank. Find that lift from the underside and extension through the heels and the crown. Maintain it as you exhale and lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Press the pinky toenails down. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Return to your breath. Feeling that when we cultivate balance and evenness in our breath, it brings balance and evenness into the heart rate and the speed of the thoughts through the mind. With an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Lengthen the spine and exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release them down by the sides. Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B, part of our routine that we move through for the comfort and stability of the body. Inhale, arms reach up, drop your seat, chair pose. Sticking your booty out to get low. The alignment principles are the same in all the poses. Booty out to get low, center of the buttocks draws into the midline to root the tailbone down and lift the whole torso up and out of the pelvic bowl. 3 breaths. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back, move through a vinyasa or come to down dog. Remembering that this is your practice, and then you have to honor your body and where it's at today. Inhale your right leg high. Lift from the inner thigh in the center of the heel. Press the left thigh bone back, falling over, to create that balance and evenness in your pelvis. Inhale, lift the abdomen towards the spine, and exhale, step the foot through between the hands. Inhale, rise, warrior 1, at the top of your breath. Deep bend in the front knee to stack it right over the ankle. Energetically hugging the legs towards each other like scissors to bring that right hip back, left hip forward, causing the back leg to inner rotate. From the back of the knee, turn the heel down. And then as we root the tailbone down, center of the buttocks into the midline, we're lifting the whole torso. 3 breaths. And exhale, release. Ground your palms, step back. Return to downward facing dog or move through a vinyasa. Inhale the left leg high. Lift from the inner thigh in the center of the heel. Toes flexed and active, pointing down as you press the right thigh bone and outer hip back, creating that balance and evenness in the pelvis. Inhale, lift the abdomen. Exhale, step the left foot through between the hands. Inhale, rise. Warrior 1 at the top of your breath. Deep bend in the front knee. Hug the legs towards each other to inner rotate the back thigh. And then from the back of the knee, turn and press down through the heel. Tailbone rooting down so we can draw the whole torso up and out of the pelvic bowl. Have 3 breaths. And with an exhale, release. Ground your palms, step back. You can come to down dog or child's pose. You can move through a vinyasa. Whatever choice you make, anchor your awareness on your breath. Allow the breath to be deep and long. Remembering that we get everything we need from the breath. pulling it in and up, and then shining it back out. We'll meet back in downward dog if you're not already there. And with an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply into the legs. Inhale, reach the arms up, drop the seat, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall, Tadasana, mountain pose. Again, inhale, arms reach up, drop the seat. Stick your booty out to get low. Root your tailbone down to rise up. 3 breaths. And exhale, fold. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back. Come to down dog or move through a vinyasa. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, rise, warrior 1. The legs hug together. The tailbone roots down. Interlace the hands behind your back. Inhale, lift the abdomen and the heart. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Bowing warrior. Nothing changes in the legs, but you can really look back at your legs now and see what adjustments you need to make to bring balance and evenness into the pelvis. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an exhale, ground the palms, step back. Move through a vinyasa or come to downward facing dog. Move with your breath. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, rise, warrior 1. Drawing the legs towards each other. Inner rotating that back thigh. Root the tailbone down. And interlace the hands, switching out the crossing of the fingers behind your back. Inhale, lift the abdomen and the heart. Exhale, fold forward. Hinging at the hips, coming down on the inside edge of your front leg. And looking back at the back leg. Making sure that the muscles hug into the bones. That you're doing everything you can to bring balance and evenness into the pelvis. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Breathing that balance and evenness into the side bodies and sides of the neck. With an exhale, release. Ground the palms, step back. Come to down dog or child's pose. Or take a vinyasa. Keeping the legs strong to support the spine as you move. Return the awareness to the breath. We'll meet in down dog if you're not already there. And with an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, drop the seat, arms reach up, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall, Tadasana, mountain pose. 1 more time. Inhale, arms reach up, drop the seat. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, gaze forward, get length. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back to plank. Move through a vinyasa or come to downward dog. Allow the breath to deepen the motions of the body. Inhale that right leg high. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, rise, warrior 1. This time, exhale, open to the side, warrior 2. Still finding that deep bend in the front knee. The thigh bone presses back, so the knee stays over the ankle. The back thigh bone inner rotates slightly, and then it presses back as well. fully opening the hips in the side body plane. Tailbone roots down between the sits bones. And then we inhale and we hug the legs towards each other. Hug the energy in and up. Exhale, extend out. 3 breaths. And exhale, cartwheel your hands to the mat. Step back. Come to your downward facing dog. Or move through your vinyasa. No judgment on your choices. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, rise, warrior 1. Exhale, open to the side, warrior 2. That deep bend in your front knee, stacking it over the ankle. The leg presses back so it doesn't fall in because that's bad for your knee. Back thigh bone inner rotates slightly, thigh bone in the hip socket, and then pressing that back thigh bone back. Hips open fully, tailbone grounds. Notice if you're here, you've got to lift that frontal hip bone up. Find your shape and then inhale and pull the energy in and up from the floor to the core. Exhale, extend it out. 3 breaths. And cartwheel your hands to the mat. Step back. Move through a vinyasa. Or come to down dog or child's pose. Wherever you're working, return the awareness to the breath. We use the breath to anchor the awareness so we can witness what arises, abides, and dissolves. Observing how we speak to ourselves when the practice gets hard. And maybe like, whose voice is that in your head anyways? Good. We will meet back in downward facing dog if you are not already there. And with an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, drop the seat, arms reach up, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall, arms by your sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. Whew. How's everybody doing? Good, I'm gonna restart the video on Instagram because it only gives us an hour. So you can take a little water break or whatever. And then we'll do some standing poses. Oh, I'm sweaty. Good. Hands on the hips. Step the left leg back. That left foot turns out so the heel can ground. The legs are still hugging towards each other. That back thigh is still inner rotating. Lift and spread your toes. Stretch them out, ground them down. Feel the muscles hug into the bones. Root your tailbone down. Inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, the crown of the head. And exhale, begin to fold forward, hinging at the hips. So the thigh bones press back. The muscles hug into the bones. The lower back is long. Abdomen drawn back as we fold. If it feels good, you can bring your hands to the floor, or you can interlace them behind your back. Again, you can look at your hips and see what is happening here. You can look at your quads and making sure they're engaged, lifting away from the knees. 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an exhale, release your hands if they're not already down. Preparing for a twist. Same engagement and alignment in the legs. You can keep your left hand grounded inside your front foot, or you can take it to ground outside your front foot. Hand on your sacrum, feel what is happening in the pelvis. We want this bone even on both sides and parallel to the earth. So we're pressing our thigh bones back. Inhale, lift the abdomen. Begin to twist to the right. Lift the right arm up. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Keeping the legs engaged to support your spine. Press through the palms to roll the shoulders back. Feel what you're doing in your head and neck. And then bring that right hand back to the sacrum. Slight bend in the front knee. Scoop the left fingertips out in front of you. Inhale, rise, straightening the right leg, lifting the left leg. Maybe you want to stay right here. Maybe you inhale, lift the abdomen, and lift the right arm up for a twisted, revolved half moon pose. Keeping that balance and evenness in the pelvis, that engagement in your legs. Have 3 breaths. And exhale, release, standing forward fold. At the front of your mat, shake out the head, shake out the hips. With an inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release them. Down by your sides, Tadasana. Hands on the hips. Step the right leg back. It's a pretty long stance. And then we're hugging our legs together to inner rotate the back thigh. The thigh bone goes back and inner rotates. The back foot slightly turned out so the heel can ground. Inhale, lift and spread your toes. Stretch them out, ground them down. Feel the muscles hug to the bones. As you exhale, press your thigh bones back. Feel the low back lengthen. Keep your abdomen lifted. Take whatever variation you took in the hands on the other side, switching out the crossing of them, if that's what you did. And then gazing back at your hips, seeing what adjustments you can make to create more balance and evenness. Engagement in the muscles of the legs. Don't give up. 3 more deep, long breaths. Good. And with an exhale, release your hands down to the mat. Thigh bones press back. Lift and lengthen the spine. Right hand can be grounded inside your right foot, or you can take it to the right hand grounded inside left foot or outside left foot. Left hand onto the sacrum. Press the thigh bones back. Lift the frontal hip bones away from the thigh bones. Keep your abdomen or your quadriceps hugged to the bone. Inhale, turn to the left and begin to lift your left arm up. Keeping that balance in the pelvis, keeping the legs engaged, press through the palms to roll the shoulders back. 3 breaths. Bring the left hand to the sacrum. Slight bend in the front knee as you scoop the fingertips out in front of you. Inhale, rise. Lifting that right leg. Straightening the left leg. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you inhale and twist for a revolved half moon pose, lifting the left arm up. Hips face forward. Legs strong. Twist at the core. Press out through the arms to stack the shoulders. 3 breaths. And exhale, release. Oh, roll forward. Shake out the head and the hips. Good. And with an inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, release the arms. Down by your sides. Spread your feet wide. Get some water.
Why it's so hot in my house.
Okay. Feet wide. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Thigh bones back. Center of the hips over the knees and ankles. Hands on your hips to start. Lift and spread toes. Stretch them out, ground them down. Inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, and the crown. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Maybe the head can come to the floor. Maybe not, maybe it hangs there. But we're grounding our palms between our feet with the hands, the fingertips facing towards your face. The hands are as wide as the shoulders. The elbows stack over the wrists. We press down into the arms to lift the shoulders up. And we return to our awareness in our feet and legs. Lift and spread the toes. Stretch them out, ground them down. Notice if your ankles tend to collapse in or out. Center them over your foot. Slight bend in the knees, from the back of the knees, lift up. From the back of the knees, press down. Return to the hands and lift the shoulders. 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an inhale, lift the abdomen and the gaze. Walk the hands out under your shoulders and hop your feet together. Shift your weight to your left foot. And with an inhale, lift the right leg straight out to the right side. Toes flexed and active. Thigh bone of the standing leg back. Press through both heels. 3 breaths. Exhale, release. Pause, take a squat for a moment. That shape is incredibly challenging. I literally remember the first time a teacher suggested that I do that because my leg would not lift off the ground. And in my head, I was just like cursing her out. So wherever you're at today, it's all good. Just introducing possibilities to the body. And when you cultivate your own practice, if you are crazy like me, you put together all the things that you're struggling with and working on. You practice them every day and you see how rapidly you improve and get stronger. Back to that standing forward fold with the hands grounded under the shoulders. Shift the weight onto the right foot. Inhale, lift the abdomen, gaze forward, and lift the left leg straight out to the left side. Press through both heels and have 3 more deep, long breaths. Exhale, release. Again, take the feet wide. Bend the knees, lower into a squat pose. And I was so busy talking, I forgot to say this, but you can turn your feet out slightly. You want to bend the knees in line with the feet. So however the feet need to face to keep the knees safe. The most important part of this pose is getting the heels grounded. So if you're not there yet, you can always roll up the back of your mat and place your heels on it. You can also grab a blanket. If you don't have props handy, just feel free to support yourself and think about allowing the weight of the pelvis to ground down through the heels. If the heels are grounded, bring the hands to the heart. The hands press together to roll the shoulders back. The elbows and the knees press together. 3 more deep, long breaths. And release the hands. Straighten the legs. Bring the hands onto the hips. Inhale, root down to rise up. Exhale, release. Shake it out a little bit. Let me check on the time. Good. We're gonna do a couple balancing poses and then we'll wind it down. So shift your weight to your right foot. Inhale, lift and spread the toes. Make sure your foot is facing forward, outer edge of the foot parallel with outer edge of the mat. Inhale, lift the left knee. And exhale, turn it to the side. You can kickstand the toes by the ankle, press the foot into the calves, or lift the foot all the way up and over the knee to press the foot into the thigh bones. With the hands at the hips, feel what is happening in your pelvis. That standing thigh bone presses back. Lifted thigh bone presses down. Hands come to the heart. Everything hugs into the midline of the body. We use opposite forces to cultivate balance in this practice. And as you root down from the tailbone, through the heel, through the floor, connecting you to the earth, inhale, reach the arms up. You can keep your hands together or take your hands as wide as your shoulders. But either way, looking for that same stacking of the bones and joints, that balance of opposing forces, feeling how it's never really still, but always an elaborate dance on the inside. You can stay right here at center, or you can exhale and play with lowering the left hand, palm facing up onto the left thigh. Press down through the right heel to lift and lengthen through the right side body. And exhale, widening the right hip gently to the right. Lean up and over to the left for a side tree pose. Wherever you're working, have 3 more deep, long breaths. Feeling that burning in your foot and knowing that you're getting stronger. With an inhale, return to center. Exhale, hands to the heart, everything releases down. Shake it out. Inhale through the nose, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale through the mouth with sound of release. Letting go of whatever happened on that side and moving on. Remembering that it is a playful practice. It is to help us see ourselves, both body and mind, more deeply. And if you can stand on your foot for 5 minutes, literally doesn't matter. Shift your weight to your left foot. Lift and spread your toes, stretch them out. Keep the big toe mound grounded as your anchor. Inhale, lift the right leg. Turn the right knee out, either kickstanding at the ankle, pressing the foot into the calf, or bringing the foot all the way up onto the thigh. Hands on your hips to start. Standing thigh bone back. Stack the hip over the knee and ankle. Lifted thigh bone down. Balance and evenness in the pelvis. Hands at the heart. Press the foot and the leg together. Everything hugs into the midline of the body. From the tailbone, press through the heel. From that grounding, lift up. Keep the hands together if that's useful for you, or take them as wide as your shoulders. Feel that wiggling, that wobbling, that blowing in the wind, where we are moving and fluid to adapt and stay strong. And then if you did so on the other side, exhale and lower the right hand towards the right thigh, palm facing up. Press down through the left foot to lift and lengthen through the left side body. And the left inner thigh widens gently to the left as you lean up and over to the right. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And inhale to center. Exhale, release everything down. Shake it out. Ooh. And then come back to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, ground the palms, never jump back. Move through a final vinyasa or come to child's pose. We're all going to meet in child's pose. Return your awareness to your breath. And notice the quality of the breath now at this point in your practice. Notice where in the body you're still holding tension and where some things may have shifted. Observe the speed of the thoughts through the mind. And we're gonna just stretch out the feet, the legs, to undo kind of all of the really intense work we did there. So you can come onto hands and knees and step the right foot forward, keeping the back knee on the ground. We're coming in for a quad stretch. Left hand stays grounded, right hand reaches around behind to grab the left foot. If you need, you can like rest your hand on a chair here if being down low is too intense. Stick your booty out towards your heel, root your tailbone down, take the whole center of your buttocks forward and take your foot with you. Feel that quad stretch. Breathe, lengthen space into the spine and lean into the back body to stack the shoulders and open the heart. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And exhale, release. Ground both hands, shift the weight over the left knee. Front foot flex and active, pulling from the heel back into the hip socket. Stick your booty out behind you. Feel how that deepens the stretch in the hamstring. Inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, and the crown. Exhale, fold more deeply into your leg. And with an inhale, rise. Take that right foot back behind you. And step the left leg forward. Stack the front knee over the front ankle. Keep the right hand grounded and reach behind you with the left hand to grab the right foot. Stick your booty out towards your heel and then root your tailbone down. Take the whole center of the buttocks forward and bring that foot with you to deepen the quad stretch. Lift the abdomen towards the spine and lean into the back body to stack the shoulders and open the heart. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Exhale, release. Ground both hands outside the front foot. Shift your weight over your back knee. Straighten the front leg. Flex the toes. Pull from the heel all the way back into the hip socket. Balance and evenness in the pelvis. Stick your booty out behind you. Inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, and crown. Exhale, fold more deeply. Have 3 more deep, long breaths, breathing into the places that feel tight and sore and stuck. And as you exhale completely, find some release. Notice if your front foot sickles or does any weird shit, pretending you're pressing it into the wall. And then you can inhale, lift the abdomen and slide that left leg back. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna calf mash. And this can be really freaking intense, which means that you really freaking need it. Specifically, if you have pain in the knees or ankles, when the calf is super tight, we can't adjust the alignment in the joints. So often if you're a runner, the calves get super tight. So you have to soften the muscles of the calves and lengthen them so you can realign the knees and ankles. So we are crossing our right ankle behind the left knee. And then you can control the intensity by how much you sit back on your foot. Once you find the amount of pressure that you can tolerate, you are rolling the ankle and foot bone over the calf and shimmying it down your whole leg. You should feel the tension draining out of the calf through the bottom of the foot. And again, if it's the first time you're ever doing this, it can be really intense. Another great thing to incorporate into your daily practice until it becomes something that actually feels good and you freaking love doing it. Woo! Good. Once you've gone all the way down through that one side of your calf, one leg, switch sides, crossing the left ankle behind the right knee, and then sitting back. Woo. You can control the pressure by how deeply you sit back. I'm gonna just put all my weight on it and then slide from side to side, rolling over the calf. And it gets one side better than the other, so you have to just use your awareness to create as much balance as you can. And you're sliding the foot down the calf. Oh, releasing the tension through the bottom of the foot as you work. Awesome. Once you have done all the way down on both sides, we will finish up with stretching out the top of your feet, or stretching out the arch of your foot and then the top of your foot. So this time we are sitting on the heels. We want to get all the toes, even the pinky toes, tucked under. And we want to hug our heels together. One sit bone on each heel. And we're going to just stay here and breathe. If you're like, oh my God, this is so easy, you can always pull the knees back more. My teacher, Heidi from Yoga Bywater, always says you cannot hurt yourself in this pose. You cannot be injured. And like that burning and ripping apart feeling is just muscular and perfectly fine and good for you. We're going to take the right arm out in front and wrap the left arm around. Upper arms parallel to the earth. Press the forearms away from the face as you roll the shoulders down the back. We're not arching here. The abdomen is drawn back. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Hug those heels together. Mine will not stay together, but that is the practice. And exhale, release the arms. Recommit to the hugging of the heels together and left arm out in front, wrap the right arm around. Upper arms parallel to the earth. Press the forearms away from the face as you roll the shoulders down the back. Make sure you're not arching your lower back. Keep the abdomen drawn back. Tailbone rooting straight down to lift and lengthen through the crown. 3 breaths. Hug those heels together. And exhale, release. Tuck the tops of the feet down. And then hugging the heels together, sit back on the heels again. Stretching out and opening up through the top of the foot and ankle. One buttock on each heel, one sit bone on each heel. We're going to stay here for a few moments. Again, the tailbone's rooting straight down. We're not here. Stacking the bones and joints. If you're like, oh my God, I don't feel anything, keep hugging the heels together. Bring the fingertips behind you. Again, not arching the back because then you think something is happening that's not. Abdomen drawn back. You can play with lifting the knees. When I do this, my heels just come apart. So that lets me know that like my work is really to just sit and hug my heels together. Wherever you're at, 3 more deep, long breaths. And exhale, come out of it. And we're still running out of time all the time. We're gonna do a boat pose, a forward fold, and be done. Come to seated with the feet grounded in front of you. Ground the fingertips behind you, roll the shoulders back. Lift the shins parallel to the earth. Lift the hands, lift the legs. That same engagement in your legs, shoulders back, 5 breaths. And exhale the legs wide like we started in that Upavista Konasana shape. Press the back of the legs down. Press out through the heels. Keep your toes flexed and active, pointing up. You can even grab the big toes here at the outside of the foot. As long as you have the length through the spine, fold forward. 5 deep, long breaths. And with an inhale, rise. Bring the legs together. Reach forward, draw the abdomen back. Exhale, roll your spine out vertebrae by vertebrae. Try to keep your arms by your ears as much as possible. And when you come to lay on your back, feel free to take Shavasana. Feel free to take any other pose or shape that your body may be suggesting it would like. But when you are done, find some stillness. The feet are as wide as the hips and they fall outward here. No more effort to align them. But if there is discomfort in the lower back, you can always place your knees on a chair, the couch, anything. And this is my favorite way to experience Shavasana. You can also take the feet as wide as the mat and let the knees fall in towards each other. Palms rest facing up at like a 30-degree angle from your body. And return your awareness to your breath. Allow it to be so deep and so long that you feel it touch down into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. And as you exhale completely, any residual tension, criticalness, self-doubt leaves the body with the breath through the fingertips. Always remembering that if the chin is jutting up above the forehead, you've got to place a blanket under the head so the body can enter rest and digest. And just be with your breath. Hmm. Take this moment to savor any strength and stability that you felt in the body or mind through the practice today. And then begin to intentionally deepen the inhales, the aspect of the breath that enlivens and invigorates. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Gently sway your head. With an inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Give yourself a big stretch from fingertips to tippy toes. Exhale here. Inhale, draw the knees into the chest. And exhale, roll onto the right side body. Pause for a moment in fetal position. Move slowly as you transition from the meditative rest of Shavasana back into everyday life. Press down with the palms to lift up. Come to a comfortable seated position. Keep your eyes closed for just another moment and return the awareness to the breath. Notice the quality of the breath after your practice. Notice where in the body you're still holding tension and where some things may have shifted. Observe the speed of the thoughts through the mind in this moment. And then anchor the awareness back on the breath. We will seal our collective efforts with a single Om. Inhale deeply to prepare. Bring the hands to the heart and bow your head in gratitude for the tools of this practice that help us to cultivate structure, discipline, and routine so we can feel the joy and freedom of being attached to nothing. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today. Have a great rest of your day.
Take care. Hi, Peyton.